Thank you viewers, welcome back. আমরা এখন আমাদের দি গেস্টের সাথে আলোচনা করব transition and transformation in life. তো ইকবাল actuarist working for one of the top four companies in the world, accountancy firms, and Hamim studying in one of the finest college in Britain. So we are very proud of you. If you can share some advice, some comments about transition and transformation. So for example, how students studying in secondary school will choose a college or a university and then their first job.
I mean, why don't you start with that? Because you're doing that now.
Right now, the UCAS transition period. So it depends on many things, but you have to know, well not you have to know, but you should have a rough idea of which industry you want to go into. Or if you don't, that's fine, but if you have an idea of which industry you want to go into, and what do you enjoy? How do you enjoy learning? So for example, I use myself as an example. I know I want to go into finance, and I prefer learning like on the job, more practical, right? Instead of classic textbook education. So for me, I want to get into a degree apprenticeship, which if you don't know, that's where you work with a firm and they pay for your degree. So you do the degree and you work and you get trained at the same time. It lasts 3-4 years and the degree is equivalent to a normal bachelor's degree or even a master's degree in some cases. So that's for people that want to be more practical, learn on the job, get more experience. But some people, they prefer learning in a school-like environment, classic university. So you have to know what you're trying to get into and how do you enjoy learning. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. So you prefer degree apprenticeship.
Yeah.
You'll be studying as well as working together, hopefully getting salary and at the same time learning, yes? And not paying the tuition fee loan,
Yeah.
You don't have to. But what about the social aspect? Building that social capital, building the network, and enjoying life in general.
Listen, degree apprenticeship is the hardest thing to do in my opinion, because university, it's still school. You get holidays, etc. With a degree apprenticeship, your social life is a little bit worse. You get 25 days off in a year, right? And you're in an office with people a lot older than you, and more experience. So you have imposter syndrome. You struggle to socialize sometimes. But nowadays, a lot of firms are doing initiatives where they mentor you with people, and apprenticeships are taking in big cohorts of like 30, 40 a year. So you have people your own age. And again, at the end of the day, it's up to you. What do you enjoy? And what's important to you? So for some people, the social aspect is more important, so they want to go university. For other people, progressing their career faster is more important to them. They can sacrifice the social life for a little bit, suffer for a few years, but they want to progress their career faster and further, so they do a degree apprenticeship. So it depends on you, and like how mature you are, if you think you're ready for the work life, or if you want to, there's nothing wrong with whatever you choose. It's up to you at the end of the day. Everyone's different. So yeah, that's what I would say.
And in relation to making applications to right sorts of providers, when do you have to make that application, and what kind of providers are available for other students?
Are you talking about degree apprenticeship?
Degree apprenticeship.
Okay, so now I'm in year 12, June. The applications for most degree apprenticeships open in September, October, November, some of them later in January. A lot of firms offer them, The big four, PwC, EY, Deloitte, KPMG, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bloomberg, basically every big finance and law companies as well. There's lots of solicitor degree apprenticeships, software engineering, lots of big firms, lots of different firms. So yeah, around September to January time is when the applications happen.
Yeah, so I think we were one of the first firms that offered it at Newcastle University. And when we first offered it, I think it was the most oversubscribed university course in the whole of the UK. So PwC now offers it at 6 universities.
Brilliant.
So, I mean, I'd agree with him. We touched on this earlier, I think. If you want to do something like that, whether it's an internship, degree and apprenticeship, or even just, some work experience, you do need to be organised for the September intake, right? And when I say you need to be organised, it's not just looking at September. I think you need to put some effort in before then to look at kind of what the application form is like, what kind of skills that you're going to need to demonstrate to be able to be successful in that. And it's entirely possible to do it, right? Everyone can get onto a degree apprenticeship if you get the right grades, obviously, but the other life skills that you have to bring are equally as important. So demonstrating leadership, demonstrating you can work in a team. These are things that you can do at school. You can do that with your friends. So you can get real life examples of that, but you will need that before you make that application.
Yeah.
Sure. So you have gone through the university life. Hamim hopefully will go through degree apprenticeship life. Tell us more about your university life and what did you really learn from it, and how did you transit from university life to a job properly?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I actually think university is the worst grounding for a job, because at school, you go in at a regular time in the morning, you have regular lessons, and then you have the discipline that you have to go home and do homework, and then you prepare for exams. And if you think about work is similar. You have set hours that you have to do. You go to university, depending on which subject you study, you might only have 16 hours of classes and lectures a week. That is the absolute worst grounding for a job. So, like the degree that I studied, I did econometrics and mathematical economics. In theory, only had 16 hours of lectures and classes. So at university, you have to be very self-disciplined to say, yes, I'm going to enjoy time with my friends and make time to do that. But also, I need to spend time in the library. Or if, like I did, I played quite a lot of badminton at university. I need to make time to do that, and make time to study, and make time to do some social activities with my friends. The one thing that I would say about university, though, is that it teaches you life skills. So the ability to network and make friends with people who come from very different backgrounds to yourself, that's really important in a work environment. Whichever company you join, you're going to meet people who are not like you. And people from our community, that's especially important, right? We need to be able to mix and also the ability to communicate, I think, is the most important skill. To be able to communicate something, a complex idea, in a very succinct way that anyone can understand it, that's the most important skill you need to gain. And I think university teaches you that.
Excellent. So universities, of course, offer you certain things. For example, it gives you opportunity to network, build your social capital, and how do you manage your own freedom, actually, yes? But at the same time, degree apprenticeship gives you a lot of opportunities for professional networking, and be really focused about your career and then develop that occupational, subject dependent and career dependent skills, yes? So both of them have huge advantages. So let's imagine someone studying a subject in a university, not a technical subject, more like a generic subject. What would be your advice to them to aim to get, who are aiming to get a good job? What would be your advice?
So I think it's very different now compared to when I went to university, because, I mean, Hamim will say this, I'm sure, it is a lot more competitive. So I think even in your first year, you should be starting to think about what kind of career do I want, what industry do I want to work in? And in your first year, I would be looking at firms that are in that industry and starting to apply for summer internships for the following year. You need to do that in September, but you need to draw up a short list of companies. You need to do that in your first year.
Excellent. So even if you are studying in any subjects in a university, having the right career focus is highly important.
Correct.
And then what kind of jobs you want to do, research about that job, and where you want to work, research about those companies, so that you become prepared and then start making application as you are progressing with the universities. Degree apprenticeship is fairly new. I think many parents even do not know much about degree apprenticeship. Do you want to share your stories? How many of your friends are actually going to pursue degree apprenticeship, and how many of them, ballpark figure, is going to pursue university programs, and how many of them would actually really go for a job, full-time job?
Yeah, I think degree apprenticeships are very new. People don't know too much about it, which is why, especially in our community, people have a misunderstanding. And I had a misunderstanding. When I was younger and I used to hear the word apprenticeship, I thought it meant like second rate, you work a basic job, you get paid a wage, you don't really get any qualifications. And there are apprenticeships like that. But a degree apprenticeship is when you do a degree, so you still have qualifications, and you work with most likely a top firm at the same time. So, for example, I'll use finance as an example. EY, they offer degree apprenticeships, level 7. So you do the ACA qualification at the same time as working there. And then in 3 to 4 years, you have that qualification, you have 4 years of work experience, you have a guaranteed job. So as you said about competitive, the job market's very competitive, so it's hard to get a job these days. And say, for example, you do go uni, a lot of people from uni, they apply to these grad schemes at KPMG, Deloitte, EY. And even if you apply to these grad schemes, there's 1,000, 2,000 other people applying at the same time. So why go through that struggle if you can have it from earlier? If you can secure the degree apprenticeship, that's secured for you. Okay, and then when you finish your apprenticeship, you're guaranteed a job there. You're guaranteed a promotion, you're guaranteed a job there.
And what percentage of your friends, for example, are willing to pursue degree apprenticeship?
The school that I go to now, the college that I go to, I'd say half and half. Half the people want to do, well, maybe not half and half. 60% want to go to uni, 40% want to go to degree apprenticeship route. It's kind of split. Some people are still a little bit unsure, but most of the people, they apply to both.
Okay.
So yeah, and these days it's becoming a much more popular route. So 5-10 years ago, no one really knew about it. It didn't really exist. But now it's a much more popular route. People want to go down that path.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say to parents, if your child knows what they want to do as a career, so, I'm not sure how this would happen. It certainly didn't happen with me. But, if your 16 or 17-year-old knows that they want to be an accountant, or they want to be a lawyer, or they want to be an engineer, a degree apprenticeship is a fantastic route into getting into that. Because as Amim said, not only do you get your degree, you often get reduced tuition fees. Not always, but you often get reduced tuition fees. Your child will have a job at the end. And for those people that need a professional qualification, they will have the professional qualification almost at the end of the degree, other than the experience requirement. So typically to become an accountant, you have to have 3 years work experience as an accountant, but you will get that. Now, the disadvantage with doing a degree apprenticeship is that if you get it, you have to take that job at the end.
Yeah.
You can't pull out. So you have to know that you want to do that job. So don't apply for an accounting profession if you don't want to be an accountant at the end.
So you must know what you're choosing and then pursue and persevere in it. Okay.
That's a common misconception that people have, is that you get stuck into that industry. That's not always the case. Rarely that can be the case, but I've spoken with a lot of degree apprentices myself. And the other day I spoke with someone at EY. He's doing digital technology solutions and consulting at EY. And he told me that you don't get stuck in the role, because with a degree apprenticeship, you earn a lot of transferable skills, right? So with those transferable skills, it becomes easier to actually move to a different company or to a different industry. You're not required to take on the role.
So I think that's true, but you will have to do a number of years at the company. And that's the only point that I'm making.
Like from the beginning, you're contracted to do, I mean, to be honest, you don't have to. A lot of people, they drop out after a year because it's too hard. But most people, you have to do that, 3-4 years. But that's part of the degree as well.
I agree with that.
Dropout can happen both in universities and a degree program. What Iqbal is, I think, saying is that you need to pursue it for a long period so that you can earn your degree.
Yeah.
And then also you also earn your salary, yes? Okay, now I wanted to just touch base on the final segment of this discussion. I'm hoping that you'll be able to share some information about leadership and legacy. So I will ask a philosophical question. In philosophy, there is an ontological view of the world. And the first view is that why do we exist, for example? That question, that answer, has some connections with your goal setting and with your mission and aspiration in life. So why do you think you exist? I wanted to maybe go back to Iqbal. Iqbal, are you driven by professional success? Do you want to contribute to the society through social means? Do you want to support your family? That's also a legacy. Tell us more about your leadership, legacy, and the purpose of life.
Yeah, look, and I think it's changed over time, as all things do, right? So when I was younger, I was definitely driven by, I want to be able to provide for my family. I knew at quite a young age that I wanted to get married, I wanted to have children, and I wanted to do a career where I could be successful professionally, but also provide for my parents provide for my children, and provide for my wife, right? So that drove me. But it's really interesting you talk about legacy, because I've been very lucky in life. I'm a partner at PwC, and when you get admitted to partnership at PwC, what you get told is, remember that this is a fleeting moment, that you'll be a partner for a period of time. You have to leave the partnership in a better place than you found it. And actually, as a partner, and as someone who's in their kind of late 40s, I really do feel that. So when I look at the roles that I do within PwC, when I look at the support I give to younger partners, younger directors or senior managers who want to become directors and partners, for me it's about growing our firm and leaving it in a better place than when I first entered the partnership.
So professional legacy, family legacy,
correct,
have contributed to your worldview and maybe shaped your career.
And the final thing I would say is, and this has occurred relatively recently, I want to help members of our community be successful.
Amazing.
I think the Bengali community is not great at this, actually. If you look at other communities, they are much better at, when they have successful people, they hold out a hand and help pull people up. I used to joke with people of my generation in the Bengali community that if there was a Bengali that was successful, they would kick the ladder away from beneath them. That's not what I want to do.
No, that's not.
But I think our community has changed, right?
Yes,
but I feel that quite personally. I want to give back to my community. I want us all to be successful.
It's amazing. So Iqbal he wants to leave a legacy, of course, genetic legacy through his family, professional legacy to his new partners, and also social legacy by supporting younger generation people like Hamim, so that they can pursue the right career and get the best of the world and contribute to the society. What is your life goals in life? If you can just say whatever you wanted to say.
Yeah. Well, the world is temporary. We're here for a short time. Like religiously speaking, our life goal is to attain Jannah, be the best versions of ourselves in this world. But in terms of while we're here, I think to make a positive change, to make a positive impact, to enjoy your life as well, to be happy. And what Mr. Iqbal said about having a family, for example, leaving a legacy, having children, things like that are very important. Leaving a positive impact. And for example, like if you raise your kids right, that's a positive impact you've left on the world, because then they'll go on to do that as well, and it repeats the process. So yeah.
So that's a different and interesting views. We as a human, sometimes we need to see it from divine perspective as well. We will be transcending to a new world, another world, or next world, and what we are leaving behind, there is a footprint we are leaving behind, and will be just based on what we are leaving behind. So we need to create positive impact and mitigate any negative impact, and at the same time enjoy the life, because this life is a gift from your Lord. It's also a testing ground. So we need to have the purpose and the pleasure, but we will be transcending to the next world and using it as a test case so that we can thrive, our community can thrive, and we can, of course, answer back to our Lord. Yes. Yeah. So it's a very fruitful and interesting discussion. You have any suggestions for me? I mean, is there anything that you want me to change the way we organize this event or this program?
This program?
Yes.
And this program was great.
Okay, yeah, thank you. What about you? Any suggestion for me?
No, I thought this was fantastic. It was really good fun, and thank you for inviting me on.
No, it's really a pleasure. I know both of them for quite some time, but we never had that time to discuss about a particular topic, and I enjoyed thoroughly, and I'm sure our viewers have enjoyed it too. Many thanks for joining us, and viewers will be again hopefully joining in the next week session, and we'll be inviting some prominent figures from our community. Please stay tuned and join back with us in the next week. Thank you very much.